we're just gonna let him go. Let him course venomous. Look at those patterns on his face there.
Awesome. Yep. Okay, guys.
Get out there.
Let the adventure begin. Cool.
So here we have Iggy, the 10-year-old big, beautiful iguana. Check her out. Oh, look at these markings here. And look how beautiful lime green she is. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, these guys are very, very common pets all throughout the entire world, as a matter of fact. And so you might be asking yourself, why such a big and potentially dangerous lizard, look at these claws, would be such a common pet all throughout the world? And that's because, well, they're just drop dead beautiful and they're just sweethearts, and people love these animals. And so today we'll be talking about the care of these iguanas here. And these aren't necessarily beginner pets, although a lot of people have them in the wild. Oh, she's a little grumpy, huh? Check out those claws she has. They're just perfect for climbing up trees. These are like an arboreal species, so they're always gonna be climbing trees, getting up, basking in the sun, getting those UV rays. Yeah, looking around with those big diurnal eyes. Check out those eyes. Very good at finding proper greens for her, and for seeing color too. These guys could actually see some color, seeing some flowers. They'll actually eat flowers in the wild. It's some of their favorite things to eat, and also fruits and vegetables. So diet is extremely important when it comes to taking care of these animals. And so one of the main things that these guys are going to eat are going to be lettuce, which is super easy to get at the supermarket. Okay, so those main lettuce are going to be romaine lettuce and kale. Okay, so romaine and kale, just like for most reptiles, most herbivorous reptiles, they're going to be eating those two types of lettuce. And the reason is because they just so fully packed they're fully hydrated. You're all right, Iggy. You're all right. You're all right. Don't move around. They're just fully hydrated and packed with important vitamins and minerals that is essential for them. The one lettuce that you really, really want to stay away from is iceberg lettuce. Oh, there she goes.
Oh, wow.
Is that right?
Whoa.
Woo.
Iggy.
She's a little bit stressed out.
You wanna put her down first?
We'll put her down for a second, and then we can start back up.
Wow. Jeez, Iggy.
She says, "Leave me alone."
That's like an explosion, buddy. You wanna bring your hands here?
Well, that tops the bloopers, doesn't it?
There you go.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen basically an iguana pull this out here? So this flap basically is usually used for signs of their mood and aggression. And so a lot of times during mating rituals or territorial disputes, males will have these huge flaps here, and they'll spread them out saying, "Ooh, I'm a big male. Don't come with me. Don't muck with me. This is my territory. These are my females. Stay away." And so if you see an iguana doing that, that usually means stay away, don't touch him, come back after he's done feeding, and then you can handle the iguana. So the main two types of lettuce that you're gonna wanna be giving your green iguana is romaine lettuce and kale. And the reason is because both of those types of lettuce is completely packed and hydrated with water. It's great for hydration for these animals. Not a lot of times do animals drink actual liquid water. They get it from their food. So that's very important, and they're also super packed with important vitamins and minerals that is critical for the health of these animals. And so a lot of times these green iguanas in the wild will actually eat ripe flowers and fruits. And so you can also incorporate that into their diet as at home. But the important thing is you don't want to overfeed them with fruits and vegetables because it's just too much sugar and stuff like that. They really need those heavy dark green lettuces like romaine and kale. But those fruits and vegetable options can range anywhere from bananas, apples, and even blueberries and strawberries, which is a lot of fun to give your iguana, and they absolutely love them just like we do. So these guys are found in South and Central America, all the way from the tip of Mexico all the way basically down to the tip of South America. These guys have a huge range in the wild, and actually they're become a huge problem within the United States as an invasive species in Florida. You'll see these guys all over the place, up in people's backyards, in their swimming pools, up and down the street, all over the place. These guys, really, any type of tropical area that has a lot of food, they can basically live there. But their natural habitat was in Central and South America, right there on the equator, right where it's hot and humid. And a lot of times, like I said, these guys are super common within the pet trade. You'll find them almost virtually at every pet store you go to. They're super common, and just people, it's very important that we share the knowledge and the passion of these animals, about the care of them, because a lot of times, I work at a pet store, and a lot of times I see inhumanely treated animals. They don't know, the owners don't know the proper care, don't give them the proper diet, and ultimately it ends up with health issues, which isn't a good thing. And so it's very important that we share the knowledge and the passion for the proper care of these animals, so that they live a happy life, healthy life at home with you. So another thing that's super important when it comes to the proper care of these animals is their size of their enclosure. Look around. I'm literally standing or sitting in this massive, beautiful enclosure that was built for this animal. Okay, so these guys, as you can see, from head to tail, check this out, head to tail, super big, right? This guy's probably about 3 feet long, and it can even get much bigger than this. It can get up to 5 to 6 feet, which is massive. That's as tall as an average adult male, right? So these guys really truly need a large enclosure, and that's what a lot of people don't know, and they can't offer to their animal, to this green iguana. So it's very important that when you build an enclosure, most people are going to have to end up building an enclosure for this animal, because they're inside their house. It's just, not enough space, and not a lot of pet stores sell 6 feet by 6 feet enclosures. You're ultimately gonna have to go to Home Depot. Oh, you're all right, Iggy. You're all right. You're ultimately gonna have to go to Home Depot and buy the materials and build it yourself, because these guys definitely do need a large enclosure.
Okay, Joe. So, what have we got here?
So check this out. This here is Dunner, the bearded dragon, and he is a little beauty. What a little sweetheart he is. How's it going, buddy? How's it going, Dunner?
Oh,
what are you doing there? Yeah, so these guys are from Australia, the outback of Australia. Yeah.
So they used to heat.
Oh yes, if there's one thing you know about the outback of Australia, is that it's hot and then it's dry, very hot and very dry. And so that's perfect avenue straight into our discussion here about the proper care of these animals. So in their enclosure, in their habitat, you're gonna want it to be super hot and super dry, just like the outback of Australia. And in order to do that, you're gonna need 2 things. One is gonna be a heating light, of course. And so the heating light, what that does is it creates heat within the tank. And so depending on the size of your tank, if you have a small tank or if you have a large tank, that's going to depend on the wattage of the heating bulb. And so when you have a small tank, you want to go with lower wattage, so you don't necessarily fry the animal. And then if you have a bigger cage, you're going to want to go with a higher wattage. That way you keep the heat up to the proper conditions. And so these guys, you really want to keep them at a range from 80 to about 95 degrees, okay? The basking spot should be anywhere from 90 to 100 degrees. But in the cooler region of their tank, it should be from anywhere from 80 to 90 degrees. And so another key thing that's important from this is the humidity and the dryness of the cage. And so these guys, like I said, they're not from the rainforest, they're not from super wet areas, they're from super dry areas where it's sandy, dry, and arid. And so a lot of times you just don't want to offer liquid water to the animal. And what a lot of people find that interesting, the fact that you don't actually need a water bowl in the enclosure. That's correct. Bearded dragons in the wild, they don't actually drink liquid water. There's a lot of times where they actually won't see liquid water in their entire life. And actually, he goes to poop on me as well.
Oh, you can. Are you kidding me? Well, I guess that's part of working with wild animals, huh?
Part of working with animals. I've been pooped on all my life. I've been scratched, lacerated, whipped, nipped, bitten, you name it, all of the above.
Okay, well, let's quickly clean up for you, and then we continue.
You know what? I think they looked at each other, and I think Iggy told Dunner, Do what I did.
and while we do that, we've got these two, and we'll do a bit of a segment later on in the season on them as well. So Joe, I've got a question for you. How old do they get?
Yeah, so bearded dragons in captivity can live anywhere from 15 to 20 years old, which is quite a long time. And in the wild, of course, when you have parasites and you have the actual harsh conditions of the wild, they won't live too long, anywhere from 5 to 10 years of age.
Do they have any predators in Australia that will go for these guys? Or
yes, of course. Yeah, so a lot of times, a big lizard in the outback, not a lot of animals will muck with them. I mean, check out the scales on these guys. They're not the most appetizing thing because they're so prickly. You can even hear his scales moving around. It's very coarse. Yes, of course. Feel that. What does it feel like?
Oh wow. Yeah, that's rough.
Very rough.
That's not gonna be tasty.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what they're trying to do with these spikes is trying to scare predators off. Say, I'm prickly, I'm harsh, don't touch me, you don't want to eat me. But in the outback, of course, they do have natural predators, anything from dingoes to snakes to other bigger lizards like monitor lizards and even hawks and eagles.
Wow.
So yeah, just like any other animal, they have their natural predators, which is great because the ecosystem works that way, and that's nature's way.
And what do they eat?
And so speaking of what they eat, they're actually both herbivorous and insectivorous. And so, yeah, a lot of times people think, bearded dragons aren't going to eat greens and stuff like that. They live in Australia. What are they going to eat? What kind of greens are they going to eat? So yeah, they'll actually eat types of flowers and brush. But we can't, here living in the U.S., we can't necessarily mimic that natural diet with those sages and those brushes and those flowers. And so what we'll feed them at home is like romaine and kale. Those two types of lettuce is super important to their diet. One thing, because they're super packed with hydration, lots of water within that lettuce. And so, fun fact, bearded dragons, they don't actually drink liquid water. In the wild, they can go their entire lives without even seeing true liquid water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so they'll actually get all of their hydration from what they eat, from the insects and from that super hydrated leafy greens. That's where they'll get all their hydration. So it's actually really important to feed these guys super healthy and lush greens. That way they get their proper hydration.
So I take it their hearing must be good. Is that the ears over there, or?
Oh yeah, so that's gonna be their ear there. And yeah, their hearing's pretty good. And they got, of course, their eyes here and their nostrils here. So they got both smell, eyesight, and sound. A lot of reptiles actually don't have all three of those senses. So they're fully loaded. And I gotta tell you, their eyesight isn't the best. A lot of times, having bearded dragons as a pet, you'll put a worm basically right in front of them and they don't even see it. And so they don't rely heavily on their eyesight. A lot of times it's with smell as well. And so like I said, they'll eat greens and you can also feed them fruits and vegetables as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're like berries, like strawberries and blueberries is really good for them, and even bananas is all right. And so, but a lot of times you don't want to feed them a lot of fruits and vegetables just because it's not the best for them. It's high in sugar. You want to really stick to that daily heavy leafy greens like romaine and kale. And then so on the other spectrum of their diet is insects, right? Like crickets, dubia roaches, and worms. And so they absolutely need those type of proteins and incorporate it into their diet. I would stick to crickets. Those are going to be the most lean and the best type of protein for their diet. You should always offer them crickets. And then also dubia roaches are great with protein, really healthy for them. And then of course worms are also great for them.
And if you find a locust in your garden,
oh
can
yes,
you pass it on?
They love locusts, as I hear. Especially this one loves locusts and grasshoppers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
So, shall we try and see if what it looks like when an iguana swim? You want to try that out?
Say let's try it out. I think it's going to be one hell of an adventure.
Let's go for it.
Go for it. All right, guys. So here I have Iggy back with us. And so in their natural habitat, in iguana's natural habitat in South and Central America, there's a lot of water. In the Amazon, the Amazon River, there's a lot of water. And so a lot of times they come across big bodies of water that they need to cross. And so it's very important to their survival that they're actually able to swim. And you've probably seen on YouTube videos or on the news in South Florida, you see these big iguanas swimming in hotel pools and swimming in people's backyards. It's crazy. And so that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to demonstrate how awesome these animals can swim actually in the water. Here we go, Iggy. What are you going to do? You go for it? Oh, look at her go off like that. Absolutely beautiful. See how she uses her tail? Her tail is basically just propels her out, and she even uses her arms to crawl in that water.
That is awesome.
Hi,
She's
Iggy.
going to swim
And a matter of
on the
fact,
surface.
as you can see,
she's going to go.
she goes
She's
straight
going to go
down
all
to
the
the
way
bottom.
down. That's crazy. Wow. She loves it, huh?
Oh yeah, she
Oh,
loves it.
he. I'm not sure. Wow.
Absolutely beautiful how
That's
they use their tail.
amazing. And so quick.
Oh yeah.
So how long how long can they stay under?
I actually don't know exactly how long, but they can hold their breath for I believe a couple minutes at least.
Wow.
And a lot of times they'll actually forage for new areas under the water. Let's see if she can bring her up here.
Joe, clothes and all.
So here she is, Iggy, the beautiful green iguana, demonstrating how she swims so beautifully in that water. Hi, Iggy. She likes the water just like I do. It's a beautiful hot day today, and I'm so happy we're out here filming for you guys today.
Well, guys, that's the end of today's program. I just want to say thank you so much to Joe making this possible, and thanks to our star today, Iggy. You're an amazing swimmer, dude. Olympic medal there.
Oh yeah, she deserves it.
I never knew they could go underwater that low.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's literally, she sees where she goes.
Oh yeah, they use
definitely-
their eyes. They're looking around, looking for a place to go and hide actually, or come up. And they actually use, did you see how they use this
Yeah.
long, powerful tail? It's basically a propeller, shoots them through the water. They even use their claws and their legs to climb around the bottom. Absolutely beautiful, am I right?
Man, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Of course, thanks Iggy.
Remember to subscribe, guys. Press those like buttons there so we can give you more of this. And as soon as this whole pandemic has left us and we can start roaming this beautiful planet again, we're going to go to South Africa. We're going to show you some mambas, puff adders, nice things.
All the great animals.
Stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned.
This is the place you want to be. Reptile hunter. Here we
That's
go.
right. Woo!